9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors.
Lake Gogebic, home of teeter pigs, hogs, whatever you want to call enormous lake perch. It's time to reel them in. I met up with guide Justin Sofa from Just Fish Guide Services at the Maple Ridge Motel and Gus's Bait Shop near Berkland. We got on the ice just before sunrise because you can't fish all day if you don't start in the morning.
Oh, fish. It's got some weight. So because of the depth we're fishing, we like to just kind of take our time, reel them up slow. As soon as you get the pressure will ruin up their insides. What do you got down there? Nice perch. Just a giant. That's what we're talking about, a nice Lake Gogebic teeter pig perch. It's not a lot of these like these in here. It's like trophy hunting. You know they're here, you know they're around, you just gotta sit around and wait for them. Just like a trophy buck. But yeah, this is what people come here for. Real nice looking perch. So it's real important, fish like this, you see the eggs. Usually the big females like that, we just try to hurry up and get them back right away so they can go and repopulate the water. Thank you. Nothing like getting a teeter pig on your first fish. I looked up and that fish was already starting to chew, but since that rod was so soft, it didn't feel anything until I went over there and gave her the bacon. So what we have here on Lake Gogebic, we like to run what we call dead sticks. Generally what you want to find is a rod with a very soft tip on it. We're using a Tune Up Customs Inferno rod, ultralight. So when the fish grabs onto the line, they won't feel any resistance until they hit this spot right here. And to help us see, we're using a teeter pig spring bobber with a high vis ball on the end of it. So what we like to do is wigglers are the main forage for the perch here. So we'll just take one. We like to run 2 jigs on a line. So we'll tail hook them right through the end. And then we'll grab one more and we'll tail hook this guy as well. Sometimes the perch are a little bit more aggressive and they like to cruise higher up off the bottom, so that's where that second wiggler will help trip them. And we set them down. So right now we're in 27 feet of water. What we'll like to do is set it between 25 feet, so about 2 feet off the bottom. That way when those perch are cruising around, they're going to see that wiggler and they'll come up and hopefully smack it. And it's a little bit chilly here today, below freezing anyways. We like to just throw a hole cover over it to help keep that hole from freezing up on us. Those perch bite really light, so if you get ice in the hole, you know you want that line to be able to flow through real nice and easy, so you can detect the bites.
Yes, it's that simple. Get your 906 Outdoors Cooking Wild Seasonings today at cookingwildseasonings.com.
Another big one. So this one hit really light. You just saw his spring bobber kind of flip down a little bit. Just as we were about to turn our backs on it. It's just coming up easy. This feels like another good one. Oh, another monster. That might be one of the biggest perch in this lake. That is that's Gogebic gold right there. Another really big fish. So that's not a bad start today. It's a real long one. Like I said, it's real important to get these big girls back in the water right away so they have a better chance to survive. There's definitely upper 14s, possibly in that 15 range. I know a lot of people ask how long they are. We've measured hundreds of them, so we just kind of eyeball them now. Let's see if these fish give us a minute, get some heat. So when we jig inside the shack, generally what we'll do is we'll run a spoon, and these will keep a little bit higher up just to try to draw the fish into the area. And the way the wigglers swim, they just kind of flap around. So I'll just kind of emulate when I'm jigging. Let's give it light twitches. When the fish will come in, I'll start to slowly pull it away, and I'll let it catch up, and then I'll pause it and see if it hits. If it doesn't hit, I'll start jiggling and pulling it away and see if it chases, and a lot of times I'll get a reaction out of them. When you're using a jigging rod, this is a Tune-Up Customs noodle rod. It's good to have that real soft tip on there, so as soon as they hit it, you'll feel it. A lot of times what happens is you'll be jigging like this, and the fish will grab it and the rod will just stop moving. It'll stay down and then you give it the beans. So when we set up our units, we'll zoom on the bottom half of the screen since these fish almost always come up off the bottom. So anytime you see marks up higher like this, that's usually a school of Cisco swimming through. We usually just leave them ones alone unless people feel like smoking them or whatever. You can reel up and get a good chance of catching them. So on these hummingbirds, it's nice. You can have the dial so you can see the whole water column, but then from the yellow down is a zoom window, and then this side is magnified on the bottom few feet of the water column as well.
Maybe we'll get a double.
And he smacked it.
He did.
Here he comes. He was on his way back up.
We didn't have much action at first while jigging in the shack, marking fish, but not many were taking the bait, and you could tell we were getting a little shack happy in there.
Would that be something if
He's
you
on there.
caught a fish backwards with your mitten?
Makes for good TV.
Yep. That's how we do it up here.
Finally, the guys got a few to bite.
Spook him. And he's on.
Not a bad fish.
No.
Cool.
Good eater if we're gonna keep fish, but they get a free pass today.
Yeah.
There we go. Little guy?
Yeah, I'm trying to slow him down.
I like to call a little starter fish.
And you got him.
Perch.
Is it?
Yep. Nothing wrong with jigging them up, right?
Right.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works.
Rapid River Knife Works is the largest custom knife factory showroom in Michigan. The 10,000 square foot showroom is awesome. Hunting knives, pocket knives, and kitchen knives. Watch your custom knife being made and engraved. Free laser engraving with your personal message or company logo. Lifetime warranty on every knife and free sharpening. Plus, visit Rapid River Knife Works gift shop for Stormy Cromer and RRK gear. Bring the family and visit Rapid River Knife Works today.
While Justin and I were walking back from a missed dead stick outside, because you can't catch them all, Tyler was busy catching hogs in the shack.
That is a tank. That's what it's all about right there. Barely got to your rod too. I seen her moving up to it and I was walking over and she pulled it right in the water.
A big part for finding where these fish are is finding active wiggler beds. So you'll see some of the fish. This area in particular we came out, we started fishing, ended up getting some fish and they were actively feeding. So when we pulled them up, they actually had mouthfuls of wigglers that they had just eaten. Some of them were still wiggling around even. So we knew that we were near a real good wiggler bed. So what generally happens is this will stay good for a few weeks. The wiggler bed will dry up. They'll pick up most of the wigglers out of it or bloodworms, whatever they're eating, and then they just gotta move on. So we'll do the same. We usually pack up and start going on more recon missions to find the active wiggler beds. I always like catching them when they're jigging, when the fish are aggressive. The days where they like to jig are a lot more fun. You're not running after stuff, and it's kind of nice getting them doing it yourself, you know, getting the cadence right and making those fish eat. This is my first year full-time guiding. I've been fishing this lake for 10 years, but I finally started guiding. I did some here and there at the end of last year, guided all summer long, open water, and then this is my first full winter of having it as a full-time job. It's been pretty good. Enjoy meeting a lot of new people, hear their stories, sharing fish stories, and Tyler and I, who works with me, and Casey as well, works with me on the weekends. We enjoy watching other people catch big fish. The excitement they get when they see that big perch come up through the hole, and the smiles on their faces, that's what does it for us. I smacked it pretty hard, so let's see what's on the other end. Oop. One of them small perch. Not small by any means.
Nothing compared to the ones you caught earlier.
Yeah, that's a big perch in a lot of places, but on this lake, that's short on one end, as they say. Probably around 10 to 11.
Yeah.
Go eat some bugs. Right now it's an even trade. You know, you get some jigging, but it's kind of transitioning as you get into February. It becomes more of a dead stick bite. The fish slow down a little bit, metabolism slows down, less oxygen and daylight getting down into the bottom, so they just kind of slow down a little bit. So that's why the dead stick is real key, because it's more natural looking. It's just a wiggler swimming on the bottom, or close to the bottom is all it is. Got him. Seems like he's gonna be a little bit on the light side. Ooh,
Maybe not.
got a little spunk.
Big male, maybe.
You know, I wasn't really doing much at first, but now it's trying to be a meanie. I think you realize he's hooked now. There's some head chicks. Oh, there we go. There we go. Well, that one went to the bottom jig. She hit like she was a little baby, but you can see she's not much of a little baby. Not the biggest one we've got today, but definitely one of those nice Lake Gogebic females. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. She hit that one really light, as you saw. Not aggressive like they were this morning. That's where these real light rods and those spring bobbers come in handy.
It's time for a 906 Outdoors Wild Game Break, brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Regardless of what kind of fish you catch, if you're going to keep them, you got to cook them. I was in the kitchen with Mary Malner for a different twist on trout.
So I've got these 2 beautiful fillets, and we're going to change it up and not pan fry. We're not going to grill them. We're going to make some fresh Thai fish cakes. So we're going to use a big clove of garlic. If you've got smaller pieces of fish, it's a good way to use up odds and ends. Put this right in here. Today we're going to use some Thai seasoning. You could use traditional Old Bay and make it like a salmon patty, or like traditional flavors of crab cake. We're going to go with a little bit of dry Thai seasoning and some red curry, which is going to give it an amazing flavor. Just going to give it a rough chop because it's all going to go into the processor. Got our garlic in here. So we're gonna... In goes our fish. A little bit of our dry Thai seasoning. Going to be a little bit spicy. Red curry paste. I've got some coconut aminos, so we're going to do about a teaspoon of that. It's an alternative to a soy sauce. Not as much sodium in it. It's a little bit healthier. We're going to do a couple of drops of a Thai fish sauce, and this is going to give it a kind of a salty, briny taste. It's not anything you're going to pick out, but if it's not there, you're going to miss it. It's going to change the recipe. So we're just going to give it a couple little shakes. I've got some Thai lime, and then I've got some dried Thai basil that I'm going to use. And I got some fresh Thai basil that we're going to put in too. And about a teaspoon of cassava flour. I'm using this instead of a regular flour or a cornstarch just to kind of hold it together, act as a binder. Whiz it all together. So we could make it into like a larger patty or a burger if you wanted to. I'm going to do it in smaller, more of an appetizer. So we're going to get our pan nice and hot, and then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. You could use any fish with this. You could use a salmon, a whitefish, walleye, trout like we're using, just about anything. You could even do these like in little balls, like meatballs, and bake them in the oven. Serve them on a toothpick as an appetizer. So we're not really deep frying them. While we're waiting for the fish to get done, we're going to make the dipping sauce. So we've got kind of a heavy mayo. We're going to do a little bit of mustard, exact measurement, 1 squirt. I'm using a Dijon. You could use, if you like a grainy mustard, like a Creole mustard, something with a little more seed in it. And I'm going to add just a little bit of a Thai chili sauce, just a sweet dipping sauce. Use that a lot like for egg rolls. And then just for a little bit of heat, add some sriracha. So I love the flavor of that. So our sauce is done. Our fish is done. Just a little bit. And there you go. Thai fish cakes with a bang bang sauce.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by the Island Resort and Casino.
Experience the excitement this football season. Be where the action is. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Visit T McC Sports Bar to browse the latest lines and betting options, or build a bet on your time using Bet Builder online. Find everything you need to know on the Sportsbook page at islandresortandcasino.com. So grab your friends and get in on the action, because there's a new game in town. Bet America Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino.
It's 25 fish a person. You can have 5 over 12 inches. A lot of people that will book trips with me, you know, they ask, you know, are you gonna get your 25 fish? And the answer to that is pretty rare. It's a special day if you get more than 25 fish a guy. It's a trophy lake is what it is. You get a lot of those 13 plus inch perch. You'll run into some nice eater sized fish, and there's kind of general locations where those fish will hang around. For the most part, I think the bigger females, they don't school up so much. They just kind of make little wolf packs, and they'll just cruise around looking for food. They don't tend to hang around with the little ones. If you're catching smaller perch, there's a really good chance that you're not going to catch a big one in that school. But it's a good thing to be around them because they're eating, which means the larger females will come around and eat at some point. The key to this lake is being patient.
And patient we were. We caught those first 2 perch right away in the morning. By noon, we had 5 on the ice.
giving up easy. Felt good on the hook set. Nice nail, maybe. Back to backs. We like that. Yeah, looks like a nice little male. Thanks, buddy. Good one. Nice fish. Ooh, she's spinning you and giving you a nice shot and everything. Look at how pretty I am. They are lively.
They are. Very.
What I learned hanging out on the ice with Justin and Tyler is you need eagle eyes and speed.
You gotta be quick. Usually, once you see them hit, you just kind of drop what you're doing and run there. And give them the beans, as they say. Set them up and pull them in. That one actually kind of hooked herself. She was actually pulling drag out of the reel while it was in the rod holder, so she wasn't going anywhere. Hopefully that means they're going to be aggressive this afternoon. Seems like they picked it up in the last hour or so. Seeing some more fish. Ooh, there we go. Just another giant Gogebic perch. Oh, how are you doing, lady? You come here often? It's a nice one. I like the perch just because they're hard to catch. They're more of a challenge. They take a lot out of you, just trying to stay on top of them, but like I said, it's worth it in the end when you get on a good bite. Today was a pretty good bite. They usually stop eating right as it gets dark out. There's perch are sight feeders, so usually at nighttime they just belly up to the mud and take a little nap for a while.
And right at the end of the day, we caught 2 more back to back.
Can't keep up with him.
I had to chase Justin with 2 cameras in hand to that last one, which he let me reel in.
It's a nice one.
It was another giant hog to finish the day.
There you go.
My first teeter pig.
There we go. Nice old Lake Gogebic teeter pig.
Woo! From sunrise to sunset, we caught a total of 16 perch. It was a great day fishing on Lake Gogebic.